Hello, and welcome back to Cooking with Barefoot Grills. I'm your host, Bear Grills, and here with me today is Rachel Hay, and our special guest star, Bill Clinton. Now, today we're going to be making a special treat. We're not grilling anything per se, we're actually going to be baking. Today we're making stuffed mushrooms. Now, these aren't any regular stuffed mushrooms. These are sausage stuffed mushrooms, and made for that special paleo diet in your lives. Now, why don't we introduce the ingredients? Now, for our ingredients today, we have a couple of simple things that you need to pick out that you can easily get at the grocery store. So what we have first is we have some mushroom caps. I recommend portobello, personally. Let's see, we also have about a pound of sausage. Usually I recommend getting them in cases and undoing the cases, but in this case we have some patties to work with today, so about a pound. We've also got a bell pepper that we're going to need for our stuffing, as well as an onion. Vidalia is totally my recommended usually, but you know, get whatever onion you feel suits you. We've also got some minced garlic and some olive oil, as well as a key ingredient. What we have here is almond meal, which is not your typical type of stuffing thing. It's not flour or grains or anything that would be considered on paleo. Also, without mentioning, you use salt and pepper because we're all white here. No, don't include that.
Well, also is that we also recommend that you can hunt and gather these, and also hunt your own steak and gather all the ingredients here, and make your own olive oil if you want to be very paleo.
So, our first step of the process is that you want to get all your mushrooms out and start removing the stems. As you can see, Rachel Hay here has already begun doing that process. We've got a couple of mushrooms. You want to get them nice and hollowed out so they look a little bit like this. That way we can put in our stuffing with the sausage and the almond meal later on. So, while we're got those mushrooms set off to the side, we want to get started on our sausage. So what I have here is about a pound of sausage, a little bit more than that. Normally, like I said, you want to have them in casings and remove the casings, but here we got a patty that's, you know, a lot of meat to work with. What we have here is a skillet. We put some cooking fat in there beforehand because got to keep things paleo, and we're going to just add the meat to the skillet. Get that nice sizzle. So while we got that in there, it's a good chance to actually season it. We're going to season it with pepper and salt. And no other spices. That's it. Maybe some garlic.
Gotta keep it fresh and paleo and bland.
Yep. My hands are slippery from the meat.
I got it. Oh, you made it slippery. Okay.
Alright. Now, normally we recommend getting whole garlic to just cut up yourself nice and fine, but for the sake of time, we've got some already minced garlic here in a jar. I promise that's still paleo. It seems like
Glass is made out of sand, so sand is paleo.
exactly. Alright, that's good. Alright, so while that's cooking, we're just going to come over here now and again and just kind of break it up a little bit, stab at it, make sure that's getting nice and cooked. While we're doing that, we want to get started on cutting up some of our vegetables.
So when you're cutting your mushrooms, you want to make sure that they're nice and dense because they're going to add flavor to the interior of the mushroom, stuffing mushrooms with mushrooms. To really get that paleo, authentic, natural taste. You want to use a blade with a soft edge, because if you use a serrated edge, it's just going to kind of smush everything and make it kind of choppy and not the texture that you want. And using a smooth edge gets a finer cut anyway.
Alright, so what you're going to do is make a circular incision around the patient, no, just the bell pepper. And you're going to cut it around like I did. You're going to pull it out, and you're going to get all the seeds taken out. And what you're going to do is cut the insides to make sure that all the seeds are gone. And you get rid of all this, as we call the limp meat. You don't have that problem. But This is a good technique to make sure that everything is edible in the pepper, and that it's easier to chop. So after I do that, I'm going to cut in half, like so, and just.
So, as you can see, our meat is cooking. It's still a little bit red, so it's going to need a little bit longer to cook. What I've done is I've broken up the pieces, as we're going to need them to be more like stuffing, not pull a sausage patty into a giant mushroom. I don't think that's possible. So, I've never tried though, so you know, you never know. Fell over, so that wasn't really graceful. But you know, I'm just finishing up chopping the onions right now, so.
I think the sausage is good.
We'll put it in a bowl.
And the sausage is just about done, so what about that timing? So, after we've chopped all of our other ingredients, we're going to add it to the sausage mixture and cook it for another 5 minutes. So, we have here. Alright, excellent. So now that's done cooking, we're going to remove that from the heat, and we're going to add our almond meal to the mixture. We're going to mix that up nice and good.
It's a spicy meatball.
Not quite meatballs.
Yeah, thick sausage. The way Bill likes it.
So once our mixture has been prepared, we're going to start stuffing our mushrooms. So we'll just take a spoonful and just try to get as much of each ingredient as we can inside of the mushroom. As just to remind you folks, these mushrooms were drizzled in olive oil and left to kind of soak in them a little bit, so you don't need to do anything else with them. They're good at this point. Once these are all stuffed, we're going to put these in the oven, which has been preheating to 325, and we're going to let them bake for 40 minutes. So we put this nice into a preheated oven. One of those guys.
And this is heated by hot coals from the earth, very paleo. And we, to keep them going, we have hamsters that are heating it up.
And now, for our commercial break.
Okay, viewers, time for our shameless plug, or one of them. So, because I am Bill Clinton, I have vast amounts of wealth, so I've put my money into something I believe, and that is paleo supplements. So what I have is hemp whey protein, which I drink daily to boost my protein levels. And also, when you buy a supplement, or as the hemp protein that I have every day, you get a classy colored bottle, which is a blender bottle, and you can blend all of your protein in it. Also, we have a vitamin E, and this is great because as we are paleo, I've actually foraged for them, and I've beaten them with a rock, and I put them into these pill forms. So classy paleo form. And also we have the omega-3 fatty acids, where I've actually fished for these fish, and I've blended them up and strained them into these pills. So always got to keep it paleo. And we can sell it to you for $69.69.
Hey. Check us out next week on Paleo Talk, where we'll talk about how paleo affects our everyday culture. Here's a short clip of an example of what one episode would be like.
Well, of course, there's probably beautiful women in that study, but I will say that the only beautiful woman that I love is my wife, Hillary. Hillary, that's what I meant to say. But I do hear a lot from Facebook. That's where I get a lot of my info, and from Twitter.
Just because something is repetitive doesn't mean that it's factual. Alright, so we're just about finished making these things here. Let's take a look at how they came out. Don't those look delicious? Alright, so we're just going to put them over here. Now, it's recommended that you serve these while they are still warm, so I'm just going to get a spatula and dole these out on a plate.
Would you look at that?
And so, now we have our finished product right here, as you can see, these sausage stuffed mushrooms. Now, Bill, you want to try one of these first?
I will. Juicy, salty, very fresh, very good.
Delicious. Well, that's about all the time we have here today for our segment. I'm Bear Grylls, and this is Barefoot Grills. See you next week.
See you, everybody. Oh, check us out on Paleo Talk next week, where we discuss the fine workings of the human body.